Struggling today. There we go. All right. Dirty Sports episode 676. We're live in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. That was. I feel like that's like, that's just what it's supposed to be. Sometimes it's overdone. Sometimes it's underdone. That's just hello, Andy. That's what Tug's basing his impression on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one was you doing Tug doing you.
I think that was me doing me, but Tug does such a good me that now they've blended together.
Oh,
hello,
yeah.
Andy. Tug, hello, Andy. Tug turns me into a way deeper voiced fella, which I don't mind. Hello, Andy.
You want to hear something crazy? Your voice versus my voice are very different since we started the show. So my voice has for sure deepened. Yours really hasn't.
Okay.
It's been pretty steady.
He's all grown up. He's grown up and he's grown up and he's grown up.
It's crazy though to think, in my 30s, my voice would continue to get deeper.
Yeah.
Whereas you've been a grown ass man this whole time, Praino.
Yeah. I have a very distinct boy to man summer, and then that was it. I woke up one day, I'd grown 10 inches, I grew this mustache, and I was just like, okay, that's it. We're here now. I guess we have to focus on body hair manscaping from here on out. I guess that's our number one priority. You
were Tom Hanks and big.
Yeah, literally.
What summer was that? How old?
It was between, the man growing actually, like I've always been a little bit of a late bloomer, but like the real growth was 10 inches. I grew about 10 inches between sophomore and junior year of high school.
That's wild.
I went from 5'4" to over 6 foot, like in the 6'1.5" realm, over that summer. And actually the rest of my body kind of progressed like in the next couple of years.
I don't think we talk enough about that as a society, how, if you think about it, crazy that is.
You don't think you don't think the society as a whole talks enough about my summer growth spurt?
Just the maturation of men, of boys, obviously it happens with women as well, and it happens a little earlier, but I'm saying, think about that. Take current you or current me. Joe, if you were to grow 10 inches over a period of a couple months, you'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah. And it's actually kind of weird. Like the weirdest part was, and I don't know what, about when being a summer birthday or whatever, but like the fact that it happened over a summer for me was like, people didn't know who I was when I came back to school.
That's people what I'm saying.
What is this? But like had it happened during the course of a school year, it wouldn't have been as weird,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy.
Did you have growing pains? Because I know those are real.
No, I didn't. I've heard of those things. Like the only pain I went through was like during summers. I played a lot of basketball. I just like every day we had like a racket club where I would go and like shoot hoops, and summers were just like kind of all day basketball runs. So the only growing pains I had were like my feet were just constantly too small for my shoes. Cause I was going up like a size or a size and a half, like every 2 weeks. So I was just like, my mom's like, how many basketball sneakers am I buying? And I was like, what do you want me to tell you? All I'm doing is playing basketball, and I'm outgrowing shoes every 4 to 6 days. So my feet were always hurting.
Now, this is a good segue into a story no one expected us to lead off with. The Masters.
Yeah.
Because you're
like you used to do athletic things and now you don't. So you've gotten into golf.
That's what I was gonna say. You're a tall guy. I feel like that helps on the golf course. Praino.
Yeah.
You are now what I would deem an avid golfer.
I would say I golf on average twice a week. Playing 36 holes a week on average, say sometimes more, maybe two and a half rounds a week. Probably one trip to the driving range at least. Yeah, I'm an avid golfer.
So with that being said, will you, avid golfing Joe Praino, be paying attention or watching this year's Masters, which is in November?
I'll probably watch more of the Masters this year than I have in the past. But, and I've spoken to Tug about this. I think Tug and I even talked about it on Dirty Sports. I still struggle to get into watching golf on TV. For me, it's like it's actually a lot like when I was a kid, like watching sports. Like we used to watch Giants football, obviously, and then like after the Giants game, we'd all go out in the yard and play football. I wasn't sitting around on Sundays when I was a kid with like DirecTV watching every single snap of every single football game. It was like you watch your team and you go out and play. I'd watch the Mets and I'd like go play wiffle ball in the front yard. Now it's like, to me, still like watching golf, now that I'm a golfer, just makes me want to, I'm like, I can just go to the driving range.
Yeah.
I could just go hit balls. What I have done, because I kind of, not that I want to get into golf on TV more, but like I've gotten into golf more. I do appreciate, the course more now that I golf more regularly. I know how courses play. I know what club I would hit from a certain distance versus what these guys are hitting, how I would whatever. But at the same time, it's like these guys are so good. And I said this to Tug, it's like, it's really a competition with themselves. Like when a guy duffs a shot, and that's the thing about golf is like, sometimes you hit a good one, sometimes you hit a bad one. There's really, I can't really get invested in like the mental aspect of other people. Like, oh man, he's really having a meltdown. Like, I just don't care. But what I did in the US Open and what I did for the Masters is I bet on it just to have a dog in the fight. So now I'm like, I bet on Bubba Watson for the Masters. I bet on Matt Wolff at the US Open. I bet on Bubba now. Like I've got a guy. So as long as he's in contention, I guess I'll care. I'll probably watch here and there just to like understand Augusta a little bit more now that I golf, but it still isn't going to be like, I'm not going to spend my weekend watching the Masters. Although maybe I will, because there's nothing going on, but like, I'm still not like, oh my God, it's Masters weekend. I'm not like stoked about it.
Yeah. Where do they rank that course as far as best courses? Do you know?
I don't. I'm sure it's considered very, very high. And I think the exclusivity of it makes it like a thing. And obviously the Masters being there, I think it's like for a golfer, it's definitely a bucket list thing to play where they play the Masters. As far as where it ranks, like from a course perspective, I have no idea.
Do you know how that became the elite tournament? Because I have no clue. Obviously, we could look it up, and I will.
I know nothing.
Right? It's kind of random, in my opinion.
Yeah.
How like that became the elite.
I did have it on this morning, and it's the 84th. So that means what, 1936 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been around a minute, but I would assume some of the other ones have been longer, like the British Open.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's why. Like, I still feel like golf is kind of like an old game.
Yeah.
Like I gotta imagine all the opens are like I was saying 84. Like maybe that's kind of a youngish. I don't know.
Sounds like we have some. Once we get bored from watching it, we can actually just pull up Wikipedia and find out.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how much I care. Like I said, I invested in somebody, so go Bubba Watson. But we'll see how long he takes me through the weekend.
I'm sure Tug will be in his Tiger Red.
Yeah, exactly. Tug's been in red with black pants for like 2 weeks now.
Well, we have some good news in the Cincinnati front as far as at least immediate news for the team, even though they probably
Speaking of red.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm doing here. Trevor Bauer, congrats. The first ever Cincinnati Reds Cy Young Award winner. Shortened season, and he most likely will not be on the team next year, but still nice as a Reds fan to see a guy on our squad win the Cy Young. And look, he got 27 of 30 votes. It seems like it was pretty much the consensus for him to get that.
Yeah, and Bauer's certainly an entertaining guy. Had a great season. It'll be awkward in the history books when we go back and we see that in Jacob deGrom's 4 Cy Young wins, that there was like a break between where for the 60 game season where Trevor Bauer won it. But I actually was rooting for Bauer a little bit more than I was even rooting for deGrom to win it, because I think in the long run that could potentially help a Bauer to the Mets signing. Like, let's see who's really the best when you're getting the same run support, when you got the same lineup behind you, when you're facing the same other teams on the same weekends back to back. Because the courting of Trevor Bauer has already begun for my Mets. And I put it on the rundown, like a lot of things happening really fast with the Mets new owner, Steve Cohen, and Bauer. It seems like the courting of now Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer is a big part of that. So I'm happy for him. And I like what Bauer is trying to do for baseball. Like, Bauer is trying to, dare I say, make baseball great again, like make baseball fun again.
Yeah, I think obviously he brings a whole dynamic, and I'm going to be biased as a guy who, his team he played for the last year and a half, but he makes it like he brings that swagger to the mound that you don't see much, especially from pitchers.
And he literally does the Conor McGregor dance. So he knows he's being a showman. It's important to him. He's got this vlog thing he does. He tried to get the wiffle ball game going in the in the COVID break. I like it. The Mets old GM / new like baseball operations guy, Sandy Alderson, has already stoked him a little bit, saying he's good for the game and he'd be perfect in New York. We love what, he's exactly what baseball needs. So like I said, the courting of Trevor Bauer to the Mets has already begun, and I'd love him. And obviously, how could you not love a Cy Young winner on your team with another 2-timer?
So he's got on record saying he wants to keep doing 1-year deals, which I don't see that playing out, because the amount of money he's going to obviously command the most money of any free agent, right?
Yeah, I would imagine on a per year, especially if he does a 1-year deal, but I'd imagine he's just about the top free agent.
Well, at least free agent pitcher, I should say.
Yes, absolutely.
But my point is, why would he? I know he said that before last season, and the Reds already offered him like 19 point something million, which he turned down for 1 year. Why would he ever want to do that if he could take a huge lump sum of what's probably going to be excess of $100 million plus?
I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think the question, like, I don't want to say the question, but the thing that you can always say about these guys and the way they handle contracts and kind of demanding money is like, what are you doing with 100 million versus 80 million? You know what I mean? Like, a certain point, you're not becoming a billionaire. So like, yeah. I get it. Everybody wants as much money as they could possibly get. I am not anti that. But in terms of if he has trust in staying healthy, which obviously is, there's only so much trust, faith you can have in that. But like, what are you doing with 40 million that you're not doing with 20? Like, well,
I this is where we disagree, because Uncle Sam off the bat is going to take 50%.
Okay, but like, let's say I put a gun to your head right now and I said, you're going to get X amount of money to take care of you for the rest of your life, to take care of your family for the rest of their lives, or whatever. I'm going to shoot you in the head if you like try to oversell. Like, what is the minimum amount that you could say, yeah, if you gave me $13 million, it'd be fine for eternity.
Joe, you just presented the most ridiculous scenario ever. Is if I overstate my money, you're going to shoot me in the head.
Yeah. So like, what could you survive on forever? You and your family, like that. That's my point is there is everybody, is set for life with $20 million, right?
No, I agree. I don't think it's just about money. I think it's about obviously situation. Trevor Bauer's been very adamant about that. I mean, he was complimentary actually of the Reds team, of the organization, of his pitching coach. He wants to play for a World Series contender. He's made that known.
But my point is, we've seen this in sport before. I mean, you remember Dion just bouncing around championship to championship, being the missing piece. There was something that was cool about that, especially when Dion was kind of the first to do it. He shows up, he's your lockdown corner, he's your punt returner, he delivers you a championship. Trevor Bauer can be that. And again, my point is like the risk is that you get hurt and that you don't end up making all of this money that you potentially left on the table.
But it's guaranteed in Major League Baseball. Those are guaranteed contracts.
Right. They are. My point is, if you don't sign a long-term contract, what you're risking is not getting a long-term deal. Right. But the reward is the freedom to go wherever you want, the freedom to spend a year in Los Angeles, the freedom to spend a year in New York, the freedom to do whatever. And I get again, if I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, it's like that freedom is weighed with the risk of not making the money. But what is the difference between having $50 million and $100 million? I like, if you can look at it that way,
I would say a lot.
A different kind of plane, like a different, like.
But again, we differ in that regard. I think you're just instantly going to take half out. So you're basically you're double. You're talking about double the amount of income you make.
25 million now you're left with. My point is, there is a beauty of the freedom that you can't put a price on.
Okay, fair enough. By the way, you bring up Dion. I was going through, as I continued to clear out the house, I found old baseball cards. Found I have a Deion Sanders, New York Yankees rookie baseball card.
Oh yeah, when he had the flow, he had the straight up
Jerry
soul glow.
Oh yeah, straight out of Coming to America.
You feel like I remember that baseball card, and I feel like you could touch it and get wet from his hair.
Do you remember which card it was? Do you remember which brand? See if you can remember.
Was it Topps?
Good memory. It was Topps.
Yeah. Is it Topps Future Stars?
No, I don't think I forget. I don't think it said Future Stars on it, but yeah, I believe it's Topps 88 or 89. I think 89. Yeah. He's got that. Oh, Dion. And now he's doing Subway commercials.
Good for Dion.
Which are great, by the way.
His Subway commercials?
I think they're fun.
Yeah, and good for Dion. I'm still waiting for who would have to do a commercial for me to ever eat Subway again.
Oh, it's so bad.
I think the commercial would have to be like Mike D'Antoni and Noah Syndergaard are fighting over a sandwich. Even that, I'm not trying to ever go into Subway again.
So bad.
Eli Manning comes in and David Tyree helmet catches a foot-long meatball or something like that.
I mean, let's not forget Subway's main spokesman was a pedophile. Like the guy who was a spokesman for years. You don't recover from that.
Yeah.
How do you recover from that?
Honestly, if their sandwiches were good, I don't give a fuck about Jared. But again, and shout out to you, you sent me a Jersey Mike's gift card. I mean, between Jersey Mike's and what's the other one that Jimmy John's, and there's a Blimpie here in town. Subway is so far down the list.
So far.
I'll go to the supermarket and get cold cuts and make a sandwich in my car before I'll fucking go to Subway. just using, and you take the back of the back of the mayo package and use it to spread it on your bread. I'm throwing out excess bread.
I would argue the all-time worst Subway was the one right by me in Venice Beach, the now defunct one from about 3 or 4 years ago.
It was bad.
Oh,
but I have a feeling there's worse Subways out there.
I don't know. Need I repeat? I know I've said this before. I watched a homeless guy sitting at a chair with just one razor blade shaving his face at that Subway.
That is pretty bad.
You can't really top that. The only reason they stayed open was because of the mayor.
Oh man, the mayor.
I mean, talk about a suspect food choice.
All his life advice that he dishes out, and the guy's eating like nitrate filled. Didn't they do a thing that there's like yoga mat particles in Subway bread?
Oh, for real?
Yeah. There's like, I don't know how you make bread and there ends up like being rubber in it, but I'd like to do a future like study on like the rate of death for people who like spend a lot of time in their lives eating Subway.
Now they got good cookies though.
Sure. Otis Spunkmeyer.
Yeah, I mean, just get out of the sandwich game. Just go all in on the cookies.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys you've re-signed Marcus Stroman, correct?
Marcus Stroman has accepted his like 1 year player option for $18 million, which is exciting for a couple of reasons. I'm not really even sure how I feel about Marcus Stroman. I think he's a fine pitcher. He's sort of hit and miss. He opted out last season, which I know upset a lot of Mets fans. He's almost a little bit Bauer-esque with not as much of the success, but very brash, very bold.
Yeah,
was good for a minute. But what's exciting about the Stroman thing is Steve Cohen, the new owner of the Mets, who is now the richest owner in baseball by a long shot, comes in, gets on Twitter, starts a Twitter account, starts tweeting, Mets fans, tell me what you like, tell me what you need. Very brash, has a press conference, says in his press conference that he goes, this isn't about making money for me. I have plenty of money and I make plenty of money and I have a day job, which already is like awesome because the Wilpons were only about making money at the detriment of the team and fans and whatever. And he gives this great press conference about basically wanting to change culture, wanting to win a championship in 3 to 5 years. And immediately Marcus Stroman, who opted out last year, accepts his player option. And I just think that those two things together are a sign of what's to come. Steve Cohen's not going to give a shit about, spending money. And then like to him, it's like, if Stroman works out, great. If not, who gives a fuck? And never is there a sport. And forever I was opposed to, the no salary cap in baseball, but I have 41 years of Mets torture. So now fuck salary caps, fuck all of you guys. I hope we sign everybody. I hope no other team ever wins another championship. Get ready. If you think I was an annoying Mets fan in 2015, just wait if we ever win a world championship. I just think all this stuff together, and we've seen it across many sports, new ownership can change everything.
Yeah,
I mean, look what happened to the Dodgers. And the Dodgers immediately become one of the top spenders in baseball. They're in the World Series every year. They win one. They're like the New York market's even bigger. The owner's even richer. Mets have waited even longer. Like, I just think that Steve Cohen's going to go all in, and you're already seeing how this affects people. Stroman basically tweeted he loved the press conference. It got him hyped to accept the offer, and he's back for 1 year. Noah Syndergaard tweets just literally a gif of somebody running through a brick wall. Now he's putting out videos today of him throwing shirtless bullpens, like shirtless Thor throwing bullpens is back. I mean, there's a lot of excitement, and it's all because, and you have dealt with this, with bad ownership in your sports teams. It's not just that the Mets got new, potentially great ownership, but there's never maybe been a bigger chasm between how bad an owner was and how potentially good a new owner is, and how their philosophies are so different. I know that, like, I'm a Mets fan, but if we're not going to talk about this on Dirty Sports, who is going to talk about this? Because I think that if you're a baseball fan, you are going to see something from the Mets that just shows you how a new owner can come in and change absolutely everything. And it's happening day one.
I can feel your Mets boner.
Yeah.
2,000 miles away.
Yeah. And
I mean, I'll be honest. When you started talking about Thor doing shirtless bullpen sessions, I thought you were going to start masturbating live on air.
I mean, you should watch the video. It is pretty intoxicating.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like sweaty, throwing shirtless. And here's the thing. Like I said, Sandy Alderson is already courting Bauer. Bauer, Stroman, Thor coming back healthy, DeGrom, obviously, Peterson, who pitched well for the Mets this year. Like, it could be like an incredibly awesome rotation with a whole bunch of different personalities. But the other thing is just, and we go back to Bauer, it's almost like the Mets are going, like, how do you not come here? Like, we got the fucking money. You're not even going to be the best pitcher. Like, we dare you to come be our best pitcher. We dare you.
Joe, this is my advice. If you really want to get Trevor Bauer on the New York Mets, slide into his DMs and send him the link to MillerLite.com/dirty sports. That way, Trevor Bauer will know exactly where to get the finest Pilsner in the world.
Trevor Bauer, if for some reason you're listening to the Dirty Sports podcast, all of your Miller Lights are on me if you sign with the New York Mets.
All of them.
And I'm saying that because basically all of my Miller Lights are on Miller Lite. So all of your Miller Lights are on me via Miller Lite. Miller Lite, the greatest Pilsner in the world, the greatest beer in the world. I'm just going to say it. I like a lot of different kinds of beers, and I drink a lot of different kinds of beers, but I don't drink any beer more than I drink Miller Lite because it's just so refreshing, easy to drink, low carbs, low calories.
That's right, Joe. Miller Lite, great taste with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. However you and your friends are enjoying Miller time, you can have the original light beer delivered by going to MillerLite.com/dirty sports and find delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. So I was at Costco. The first time I went to a Costco in my area, which was in Erlanger, it's Northern Kentucky. And I was very pleased to see they had Miller Lite on the shelves at the Costco in Erlanger, Kentucky. And Joe, had I gone to MillerLite.com/dirty sports, I would have known ahead of time that local Costco would be carrying the best beer ever created.
Andy, I'm going to say, I feel like, we've had Miller Lite as a sponsor for a bit now. And I love our fans who show us support by showing Miller Lite support. But I do get a special, almost Syndergaard throwing a shirtless bullpen funny feeling in my lower region whenever a DirtBall sends me or sends us.
I was just going to read the
tweets and be like, a DirtBall just sent us a thing with a big, and I got to say, after you read this tweet, before you read this tweet, I need more of this. I need DirtBalls tweeting me, Instagramming, whatever. Are you getting Miller Lights for your Masters watching this weekend? Are you getting Miller Lights to watch football? Are you celebrating Bauer to the greatest pitching rotation in history with a Miller Lite? Send me your pics and videos.
Yeah, just tweet at us or Instagram at The Dirty Sports or at Fix Your Life or Joe Praino. Shout out to Zach
Miller Lite. Why not?
Yeah. Shout out to Zachary Scamehorn, who tweeted, went to bed 20, woke up 21. First thing I did was went to MillerLite.com/dirty sports and purchased my first legal beer, the world's greatest Pilsner. Shout out to Zach. Picture looks great. Beer looks great. And perfect package. Best way to celebrate your birthday. Yeah. So the American League Cy Young winner, we have Shane Bieber. So we have a clean Ohio sweep for the Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
I think everybody saw this coming. He got every first place vote, so everybody did see it coming. I saw a stat the Indians have had, I think, since CC Sabathia in 2007, they've had 5 Cy Young winners. Wow. In that short amount of time.
That's great. Good for them.
Yeah. They've had a lot of good pitching, just no title to go with it.
Yeah. And it looks like, I hate to say it, but the Mets are sniffing around Francisco Lindor. We have all the monies. Give us your come to me, every team's best player.
Yeah, you really have done a 180 on your salary cap situation with Major League Baseball.
Well, here's the thing. I haven't. I actually still think that there should be a salary cap in baseball. But as far as the torture, the trauma, the substance abuse that the Mets, being in the number 1 market in the world, while acting like a small market team, while sharing that market with the Yankees, who always overspend, it's been a very difficult fandom for me as a Mets fan. And I'm sure other teams who are in small markets, but it's especially frustrating when you're in a big market and you don't spend the money. And in the long run, I think, some sort of cap, soft cap, whatever it may be, would be beneficial for baseball. Until they do that, fuck you. I have dealt with this my whole life. Now we have the richest owner in baseball. Change the rules, but until you do, give me all of your best players. Mike Trout, you can get out of this contract. Say you won't play. We'll double it.
Well, you're just stealing from the poor teams like the Cincinnati Reds who
give me a fucking
who can't afford Trevor Bauer. So
our championship will be your championship. You guys will, Reds fans, give us Trevor Bauer. You're invited to the parade.
Thanks.
You're all invited to the parade. Everybody but Yankees fans are invited to the fucking parade.
The virtual parade, because there's going to be no parades anytime soon.
Yeah. Oh, are there not parades? I know Schiavelli was demanding a Dodgers parade, and I saw they were holding one at the stadium yesterday. Didn't you not see this? You see, there was.
I saw the tweet.
There was thousands of cars at Dodger Stadium yesterday. Was that not for a Dodgers parade?
It was for COVID testing, right?
Oh, it was for COVID testing.
Which, by the way, there's so many. That's a whole other discussion. Like, there's not more spots to get COVID testing in Los Angeles.
Supposedly, it's very. I was reading a lot of the. I was reading a lot of the tweets, and I know friends who have gone. Supposedly, it's just like, an hour process, but like you go in your car, everything's prepped beforehand, you have a thing. And I guess that it looks so crazy because it's so efficient that people basically can just drive up and never leave their car, get it and get out. I mean, there's other places for it. I got one recently.
I bet it's quicker really to get COVID testing than actually get in to Dodger Stadium and park for a Dodgers game, because that is a hell of a process.
It's certainly easier than getting out.
Oh my God.
Getting out is a nightmare too.
Absolutely. The worst. So let's pivot here to NBA. Quick story. There we go.
It's my pivot hand signals. Pivot.
The Houston Rockets are kind of a debacle right now. It looks like Russell Westbrook wants to be traded, and also James Harden is concerned about the future. They have a new coach. Daryl Morey's gone as a GM. Westbrook was only there 1 year.
This is where my baseball attitude changes. Do not give me your best players. Please keep Russell Westbrook away from my Knicks. I do not want your players. I think I know that, I'm a Mike D'Antoni slipper, but you can't, it's pretty obvious to me that it was a very experimental lineup, 2 point guards, 2 ball heavy guys. They seemingly happy when D'Antoni was there because he's Mr. Fast pace. He's Mr. guard play. Only in a Mike D'Antoni offense is there enough shots for a Russell Westbrook and a James Harden. and now he's gone. And like, rightfully so, how could you want to stay there? How could you want to share the ball if you're those two guys, specifically with one another? Neither of them are pure shooting types, ball heavy, dribble heavy, ISO heavy guys. Mike D'Antoni is a genius. He figured out a way, he takes the players that he's given and he figures out a way how to use them to the best. Like, we all criticize Mike D'Antoni for not getting it done, for not being in a Western Conference Finals, for not winning a championship, blah, 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 blah. But I think Russell Westbrook is smart enough to know what anybody with any basketball acumen knows, which is that lineup, while a team that could kind of contend with Mike D'Antoni as a coach, is they're a lottery team without him as their head coach. And so he should find a different place to play. And they should rebuild, that offense around James Harden. They should surround James Harden with shooters.
More shooters?
I just think I think that you could balance it a little bit more.
What was wrong with their, they already shot so many damn threes last year with all those guys.
I know, but I think that they need to be a little bit more balanced. They're gonna have to get bigs inside. But it's gonna have to essentially be a more kind of modern, it's old D'Antoni instead of like future D'Antoni. We need the D'Antoni style of ball that every NBA team is playing now. Couple bigs in the middle, an ISOing guard that is going to facilitate, and a bunch of shooters around him. They went obviously super ISO heavy. I think you're going to have to dial back the ISO. James Harden's going to have to go back to being, a league leading assist man again. And he can still be the meat and potatoes of their offense, but I think they're just going to have to come back down to earth and play more of like a reasonable lineups style of play. And they can do that by getting rid of Russell Westbrook and replacing him with, a pure shooter and a big and a draft pick.
Where is a good fit for Russell Westbrook?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I'm not a Russell Westbrook. I love Russell Westbrook as an athlete. I love his ability, but it's shades of mellow. It's like, where does that style fit these days? Where does go to the basket or like pull up elbow jumper fit in the NBA, where you need your point guard to facilitate, where you need a guy who can catch and shoot a three? I really don't know. I really don't know where he fits.
Yeah.
What team? It's the Kyrie problem. What team has Kyrie made better? What team has Russell Westbrook made better? Look at how guys who have left playing with Russell Westbrook excel. I feel like, sadly for Russell Westbrook, the best fit for him is a not great team that he can elevate by being the guy to like an 8 seed.
Let me ask you this, because I know I value this a lot and I've discussed it. Player efficiency rating is arguably the most accurate stat concerning the value of an NBA player, correct?
Sure.
If you look at this, again, obviously a lot of these games were in the bubble, but a lot weren't. If you look at the player efficiency rating for last season, let's see how close you can get. Where do you think Russell Westbrook is? What's
ranked?
His number? Yeah.
18.
It's 29th.
Yeah.
Which, look, again, it's one stat. I'm not saying it means everything, but the argument could be made, like the value, and this doesn't surprise me who's ahead of him at all. It goes Giannis, Harden's 2, Doncic is 3, Anthony Davis is 4, Kawhi's 5, Lillard 6th.
I mean, none of that is surprising at all. I guess give me 25 through 29. That's, I think, what's more important to judging Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great point. So 25 through 29 is 25 is DeMar DeRozan, 26 is Paul George, 27 Chris Middleton, 28 Derrick Rose and 29 Russell Westbrook.
I mean, when you look at that, like talk about, I think Chris Middleton's maybe the outlier of that group, but the rest of those guys, it's like, how has it gone building around DeMar DeRozan? How's it gone building around Paul George? How's it got like? It's almost like those guys are the type of people that we've already known that's not your franchise guy. Yeah. And Chris Middleton hasn't even ever, like, people have smartly not attempted to make Chris Middleton their go-to guy.
He's a great side piece. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, what do you think? Let's forget who does Russell Westbrook help the most or what? I'm not sure that team is out there that Russell Westbrook makes them a contender. Who does Russell, like, what is the best fit for Russell Westbrook? Sadly, it's probably the Knicks, because that's what the Knicks do, is get a guy who's going to not make them any better at all, but will draw people to the Garden. But he's exactly what I don't want as a Knicks fan. Like, the Knicks need to figure out how to rebuild for real for once.
Well, look, since KD left OKC, and I know it's not easy, but Russ hasn't done too much as far as lead his team deep in the playoffs.
Right. He obviously won the MVP the first year KD's gone.
Sure.
I think they were an 8 seed. But, like, let's say a team, like, where is he a good fit that it, like Russ to Orlando, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, personally, as far as like team basketball, again, he's a great player. He's a great athlete. I don't know if I'd want him on my team, though.
Right.
It's one of those, like you're saying, it's going to be flashy. There's going to be big numbers,
like,
but
Russ
does that equal wins?
Russ to the Kings? Like I guess he just got to go somewhere where he is the star, and I guess they're a player away from being a low seeded playoff team. But then again, that, like, it could potentially hurt long-term development of a team that's trying to rebuild.
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest.
Russ to the Magic. Let's do it.
I mean, I don't hate that.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's not a guy that you want to build your team around. I know that sounds weird because he did win an MVP and he does put up great numbers. I don't know.
I mean, I think Kyrie's got a lot more of an ego, mental problem. But there's not a ton of stories about Russell Westbrook, lovable leader.
Sure. No, I totally agree. So I'm thinking about doing something a little different this show.
Okay.
What if we do calls now in the middle of the show?
Let's fucking go.
And then we go to the NFL
football to close.
Week 10 picks exactly to close.
How many calls are about Steve Cohen and the Mets?
0.
God damn it.
0 calls about Steve Cohen and the Mets. You were literally the only one discussing this today.
Well, good. I'm glad then.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones. There's definitely baseball only podcasts who are discussing this today, but it's big baseball news. But
well, let's get to some calls.
Let's go.
Before we do that, Joe, I want to remind all the DirtBalls to download the Stakes app, STAKES. Guys, it's a new app that takes game time to a new level. You can answer questions in the app about today's games. So like tonight, for example, Colts, Titans, and you can win real cash. It's totally free. And get this, Joe, I will be in the Stakes app tonight. So DirtBalls, if you want to talk trash to me, if you want to compete against me, and I have played historically awful, because we all know the Ruther curse has no limits, whether it's making predictions or answering questions on the Stakes app, I always fail. Come join me in the Stakes app tonight in the Dirty Sports private group chat.
Yeah, get in the that's important for everybody who's listening. If you haven't done Stakes, if you haven't signed up for Stakes, download it now. It's go in and then join the Dirty Sports group. And when you go in there during the game, I'll probably be in there tonight for a little bit too during the Thursday night game. You'll be able to go in there, and everybody that's in the group chat, making the bets, having the chat, will be DirtBalls. And they'll, and DirtBalls, announce yourselves. Let us know who's in there, because I love seeing DirtBalls in there. I love seeing names I recognize and seeing how guys strategize. Like I've picked up on a certain style of betting strategy within the stakes app from certain DirtBalls. I see guys who go big like the whole time, just double down, double down, double down.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be tonight, and then it'll also be this weekend. So make sure you're checking. If you're listening to this episode past Thursday night, and a lot of you will, make sure you hop in the Stakes app, join the Dirty Sports private group chat during NFL Sunday. You can also answer some of these great questions, which are something called combos, and I will read some
parlays.
Of these. Exactly, which I'll just read like two real quick right now for tonight's Thursday night game. How about this one, Joe? Will there be a non-offensive score in the Colts-Titans game tonight?
Yes.
Okay. How many rushing yards will Derrick Henry have this evening? 90 or less, 91 to 109, or 110 or more?
Ooh. Or 190. What was it? 91 to
91
I'm gonna go
to
91 to 109.
Okay. Gotcha. So guys, it's real easy. Just join our private Dirty Sports group chat after you download the Stakes app from the App Store. Just enter code DIRTY. It's that easy. That way you can win money. It's free. You can compete against Joe and I and talk trash to myself, Joe, all the other DirtBalls.
Guys, it's fun. Get in there. You can. Andy bets like Matty Goldberg bets.
I do.
Like, you bet like Andy will be like, Andy has won one coin. I'm like, what are you saving this coinage for?
I'm terrible. So Stakes is currently only available on iPhones and iPad. Play for free. Once again, it's totally free. No credit card or purchase necessary. That's Stakes, STAKES, in the App Store. Okay, Joe. DirtBall calls. Let's do it. What do we got here?
DirtBall calls.
What do we got here? Let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is a throwback from our guy CT. This is what this is when did he leave this? Hopefully it still plays. Sorry. This is why I don't. This is why
Hall of Famer, Seattle, formerly of Seattle.
Yeah, this is why I should be better prepared. All right, here we go.
Fellas, CT, formerly from Seattle, lifelong Seattle Kraken fan. I'm just thinking, and I'd like someone to do the research. Not me, of course. I don't want to do it. But with COVID shutting numerous sports bars down, and those sports bars constantly having sports networks on the TVs, don't you think that would greatly affect the TV ratings for any of the major sports? When you're talking baseball's down, basketball's down, golf is down, normally there'd be thousands and thousands of sports bars or even other general restaurants, other establishments that would just have those TVs on that are closed due to the shutdown. I mean, that can play a major part, and I don't see anyone talking about that. I don't know, it's probably my most boring phone call of all time, but just something I thought I would think about that no one ever talks about. Go Cougs, fuck the Huskies, stay dirty.
I actually think it's a very interesting call, CT, and an interesting point.
Well, so there's the
I just don't know how they do the rating system.
Nielsen ratings is very antiquated.
Yes.
It's a very antiquated system. It's a bunch of, Midwestern people with some thing attached to their TV.
Hey, hold on a second. Can we look? Can we just tap the brakes a little? I am a Midwestern resident.
I mean, has any elderly person come by and been like, "Hello, Mr. Ruth. We tried to get your father Walt involved in our program in the past. We're sorry to hear about his passing, but we're wondering if you could strap this device to your television so that we could monitor for Mr. Nielsen the ratings." A lot of people are saying that if you get woke, you go broke. So we would like to monitor that. The rating system is very antiquated, and it is basically something, it's like polling, honestly, which we've seen how polling has gone lately, where they try to take a small number of people, monitor their things, and spread that, and then multiply that by how many people there are in the world to tell you how many people are watching. Now, sure, does it do an okay job of telling you ratings? Yeah, maybe. But from streaming to bar, this is something, the bar thing, this is something that people have been dealing with for a long time. Pay-per-view has to take it in consideration. DirecTV, Sunday Ticket takes it into consideration, where they will charge a different price for sports bars who are showing fights, who are showing, all the football games, whatever. So it's definitely something that is factored in. I'm just not sure it's being considered in the Nielsen ratings, which again are antiquated. So basically take all ratings numbers that you read with a grain of salt, because again, young people are streaming, and not just streaming, because now they've caught on and they're monitoring streams. But half the dirtballs I know watch their shit via like a illegal Reddit link.
Yeah. Well, I think my family is a prime example, right? There's 5 boys. Out of us, only one has cable.
Right.
Or DirecTV.
So unheard of like 10 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. So, you were joking about the Midwest, but think about that. Only 1 out of 5 has cable or DirecTV. And
which one of the 5?
Let's see if you can guess.
Brad.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't even hesitate. Got it.
Yeah.
And my parents, rest in peace, my parents, both of them, they got YouTube TV like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. My point is, like,
so your parents don't have cable?
No, and like they were ahead of the curve. My point is, look at my dad was in his 70s and got YouTube TV.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about young dirtballs. Like, this notion, they're hurting, obviously. We see it in the news and you see it in the headlines. Like,
buy forever. Good. Fuck cable companies and their goddamn monopolies.
They're really hurting. So, although
James Dolan, suck a dick.
Although I know, I hate to do it. Got a great offer from Spectrum.
You're so Midwest. You're getting duped in by 1-800 phone calls.
No.
Mr. Ruther, we've got a great offer for you.
Well,
just hear me out. We're gonna package your home phone, and you're like, "Wow, man! I mean, with a landline."
It's not that. They basically offered. They offered the internet and cable for what I'd pay solely for YouTube TV.
Right.
Which doesn't include internet. But where they get you is it's basically a 1-year deal. Like, you got to just do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Trevor Bauer all of a sudden. 1-year deals from here on forward.
It's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So we have another call from Seattle, Praino.
Love it.
Hey boys, it's Ryan up here in Washington State. I wanted to call about the Ruther curse after listening to Thursday's episode and it recently striking Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think there needs to be a running Google document of some sort that shows the documented Ruther curse incidences with episode timestamps. I think that would be a hilarious feature for the website, and the curse truly is undefeated. And those of us that have listened long enough surely can attest to that. And I just think that somebody with more time than I should go through and maybe compile that together and get that sent off to you guys, because after hearing this latest one and with all the ones in the past, this shit is insane. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Stay dirty, boys.
Now, this one was from a couple weeks ago when the Dolphins decided to bench Fitzpatrick right after I basically gave Fitz my voucher of approval.
Yeah. The long-awaited
Like this one, to me, this one was an all timer.
I mean, it really was. You were literally a World War II, like, soldier in a bunker, just lobbing grenades, fighting the Nazis, trying to like take down, like for years, you were in a foxhole fighting Ryan Fitzpatrick. The air clears, you stood up, you waved the white flag, and you were like, look, it's time for me to step out of this foxhole, live to fight another war. I'm going to give Ryan Fitzpatrick his due. And before the E was out in due, the Dolphins like, we benched him.
I mean, arguably top 3 all time, Curse.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of really great ones. I agree. I mean, I don't know what Jesse Stanga is up to these days, but this, like, there's never been, like, put out the Stanga signal in the background here, put it up in the sky, because we absolutely need like a running thread. A Google Doc.
I mean, where does it start?
A Reddit post.
Like, because to be honest, there's so many. You want to hear one? And I'm sure this isn't too difficult to find. What did I say about the election the last couple of years?
No chance of Biden, right? I mean, you said that, or?
I think I said no chance Trump loses.
Yeah. Yeah.
After the first election, no chance he wins.
Well, Andy, you're right about that. There is no chance that I lose. We have one, if you count only alive people who voted for me. So it all depends on how you look at it. If you only count living humans who voted for Donald Trump, I win in a landslide, millions to 0.
I'm pretty sure I said multiple times, no way he loses.
I'm pretty sure you did too. Although I was on that train with you originally. I said, who votes for Biden that doesn't vote for Hillary? And that was before, Trump called COVID a hoax and hundreds of thousands of Americans died. So that flipped the script on him a little bit.
Yeah.
And all of those people voted for Biden, which is not fair. Not fair.
My advice to anybody out there on that is, don't waste your time debating this stuff. That's the one thing I do love about my family is, like, nobody cares. Like for the most part, like these people who are like trying to contest. Ooh.
Yeah. That's a real sign of just
tough scene.
I gotta see. So there's a very famous, and Maddie's a big fan of it. There's a very famous New York sports radio station, The Fan, WFAN,
of course.
Obviously Mike and the Mad Dog were on. Mike Francesa was on post Mad Dog and whatever. But the reason I never listened to The Fan was the delusion that would come through across sports. It would always be like, big Mets fan here. Just not sure why they don't trade Lenny Dykstra for Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds. I'll hang up and listen to your call. I'll listen to your answer. And it was like, the frustrating part is, from the callers to the talking heads to the host, it's all this like New York sports delusion, and nothing has ever reminded me that, like, the post-election sort of Fox News conservatives who are like, nope, it's true, dead people are voting for Biden, it's not fair. And you're like, what are you guys talking about?
Well, to be fair, it's like my tweet though. It's just like the other side bitched and said Russia interfered. So
sure,
it's like my tweet last week, which of course riled people up. It's like, you guys are both whiny bitches, both sides, and just take your L, man. Just take it,
because it's a big fat one.
I mean, it's a big one.
It's a big fat L.
Big fat L.
And the quicker you take it, the easier it is to move on.
Like, I've delayed way too long in wearing my L chain, which has not been good. And I'm going to have to take that L soon. All right, let's do one more call. This is an NBA call, Praino.
Hey, what's up, Joe and Andy? This is Tom, New England DirtBall calling. I was just curious to see what your guys' opinions are on the discussions that have been going on for a while about the NBA trying to like expand their playoffs, from like 8 teams to 10 teams per conference, and like the whole playoff, the play-in tournament, which is just like the first 4 from March Madness. And like the first 4 in March Madness, I think it's like a stupid idea because it's pointless. Like, what is the point of having 2 extra teams per conference in? Because the 8 and 7 seeds never win. They're going to lose. And I feel like it just devalues, like, the playoffs in general. Like, who cares? Like, if you were the 10th seed and but we made the playoffs. Well, congrats. You guys got swept by the first seed. Obviously, revenue is the reason because playoffs equal more revenue. But I just think it's kind of stupid. I don't know. I sound like an old man. I feel like if anything, they should have less teams in the playoffs because I think 4 teams would be more interesting. Get rid, maybe have a 5-4 play-in, and just go from there. Obviously, it wouldn't happen because that would cut their revenues. But I just want to see what your guys' take on it.
I have to agree. I think I actually like the NBA playoffs. I like 8 teams on both sides. Maybe it's too much, but we're down that road already. I like a very simple bracket scenario. Once it becomes like an 8-team playoff, I actually preferred in the past the 5-game playoff series in round 1.
Yeah.
I thought that did exactly what he's saying, which is it like so often the 8 seeds and the 7 seeds don't compete. So in those series, they were either over with faster or if a team can upset a higher seed, it's easier to do in less games. So I was a big fan of 8 teams on either side. First round is 5.
Real quick, sorry to hop in. Who upset? Was there Sonics?
The Nuggets upset the Sonics. The Knicks went to the finals as an 8 seed in a shortened season.
But I'm trying to think, did the Blazers upset a 1 seed as an 8 as well, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. The
Warriors upset the Mavs 1-8.
Yep. The Pelicans upset the Blazers in what was like a 2-7 or 3-6 a couple years ago. But I think the reason is, yes, their reasoning is obviously more money. And their other reasoning is trying to incentivize less people tanking. But as far as like the lottery system goes, like the whole thing, they've already adjusted the lottery to, de-incentivize tanking. I'm a fan of the NBA playoffs as it is. I certainly don't think we need more teams. And if we added more teams, I think buys and any of that stuff should be left for football. I don't think we should have any of that. So I tend to agree. I think, if anything, an 8-9 play-in game, the way they did it in the bubble this year, is the closest I think that they should make to any adjustment. But for me, it's, look, eight teams in a bracket seems right. And I actually prefer going back to 5 games in the first round.
Yeah, I agree. 8's fine. You can't go down to 4. Then you're, come on. You're already at the
conference
semifinals. Great calls, guys. If you want to leave any thoughts or questions, give the hotline a ring, 310-359-8365. All right, Joe, we are already to week 10 of the NFL season. Can you believe it?
I cannot, no.
We're already here. Yeah. Guys, as usual, our weekly picks are brought to you by our friends at Game Theory Picks, who provides profitable sports betting advice at an affordable price. You can get weekly, monthly, and yearly subscriptions. And get this, since sports have returned in July, Game Theory clients have profited for 5 straight months. A $50 per play better is up to $1,900.
I gotta give our friends at Game Theory Picks some. I mean, I give them props as is, but I got to give them some extra props. They crush college football. They crush college football. I'm not a big college football guy, but they are dominating college football.
And I'll tell you what, we have a great new deal with them. So with 6 sports currently underway, including the Masters, Game Theory Picks is offering a limited one-time deal to all the DirtBalls. 5 weeks of plays for every sport for just $50. We're talking any sport, college football, the Masters, NFL, soccer stuff. I don't even know what they're called, but soccer stuff. We're just going to call it that.
Soccer stuff.
Go visit GameTheoryPicks.com and use promo code DIRTY to unlock this deal now. Once again, that's GameTheoryPicks.com, promo code DIRTY. Guys, 5 weeks of plays on all sports for just $50.
And I got to repeat, because I know that there's a lot of college football dirt balls out there, a lot of dirt balls who bet college football. If you are betting college football, it's reckless not to be a Game Theory Picks subscriber.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I don't normally bet college football, and now I have been betting college football because Game Theory Picks just keeps feeding me winners, and I have nothing to do. So it's like, yeah, give me some, and now I'm invested.
All right, Joe, we got a good division game tonight from the AFC South. Colts at Titans. Spread is currently even.
And this spread has moved a lot. I don't know where you're getting this line or how up to date it is, but
I am getting it from ESPN.com.
It flipped. As far as Vegas goes, it flipped. I believe it started out as -1.5 for the Titans. Is now, the last I saw prior to this starting, +1.5. And
okay,
I don't know why. I mean, we can obviously, you and I can make the bet on the even line, but like, let me ask you, Andy, what am I missing on this line flipping?
Is somebody out because of COVID? That's all I ever hear.
Yeah. Not that I know of. But I got to say, I think where the line opened with a Titans being favored makes more sense to me. I think the Titans win this game.
This really isn't a question for me. Titans. I don't care what the line is. I'm going Titans. I think they're a better overall team. And I trust their quarterback more. Sorry, Phillip Fudge and Rivers. Yeah. So Titans all the way.
I think this will be a good game, and I also think this will be an interesting game to see where both of these teams are at.
Yeah.
If somebody does, win this game handily, I know it's Thursday night, which crazy things happen, but I think it'll really tell us like exactly if either of these teams can make any sort of playoff run.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to Sunday's games. The Texans travel to the Browns, where the Browns are 3-point favorites.
3 seems right.
Browns
2.5
a bye.
2.5 seems more right, but I'm going to take the Browns anyway.
I'm going to go with the Browns as well. All right. The Washington football team travels to Detroit, where the Lions are 4.5-point favorites.
Talk about who the fuck knows what's going to happen in this game.
I know. And right? You know what? The thing about the Lions is you can't trust them.
Right.
For that reason, 4.5 is too much for me. I think the Lions win. I do not think they cover. I'm going to go with Washington.
I don't know if there's any truth to this whatsoever, but the Lions getting back on people's radar by looking sharp against like a bad team that they should beat seems like right to me. And then they like lose games that they absolutely shouldn't lose close into division. I have the hardest time figuring out the Lions forever, but like them getting wins that they don't need or want at this point against like a terrible Washington team, I'm going to take the Lions.
All right. Big spread for you. Jags.
Can we talk one more second about the Lions? Like
Yeah,
the
go for
Lions
it.
now, you got the Packers, who are obviously the class of the NFC North. The Bears are fighting for a playoff spot. Minnesota started bad, but is like coming on. They're not going to make the playoffs, but I would say from a roster standpoint and a like future standpoint, probably have more things going for them than the Lions. What are you doing if you're the Lions?
I mean, Joe, we've been saying this for 30 years.
I know, but I'm saying, but like, are the Lions trying to, like, to me, it doesn't seem like the Lions are a rebuilding team.
Well, the Lions are in a bad position because it's like every year they win enough games not to get the highest pick.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Like they win enough games to, be that middle of the pack, or like 10 through 14 pick. Does nothing for you. Well, look, the Lions, like these teams that are family owned, it's been in the Ford family. Now, I know the daughter took over, and she's got a different last name, right? Because she married, but it's the same crap. There should be a rule. I'm just going to say it. This is a crazy idea, and people aren't going to like it, but I'm just going to toss it out there. You know how there's term limits for the president and for the governor?
Should be term limits for owners.
There should.
Yeah.
And look, I know the free market people are going to come at me, and I would consider myself more of like a laissez-faire person when it comes to economics.
Clearly took Spanish in high school. Laissez? What is that? Is that sounds like a fucking soccer player.
How's it
Ronaldo
pronounced?
to Laissez. Back to Ronaldo. Laissez with the header.
How's it pronounced?
Laissez?
Laissez. Yeah, definitely my Spanish came in there on a French word. My point is, look, I think we need some regulation here. I mean, it's true though. Like, dude, look at the two franchises. Look at the two who have not had a playoff win the longest in the NFL. The Lions and the Bengals have both been owned by the same family for how many years?
And we just talked about the Cowboys recently. We just talked about the Raiders.
And we talked about your Mets changing franchises, or I'm sorry, owners. I'm just saying there should be some sort of limit, or if you haven't won a playoff game in so long, because
I just said it before. I was big on the Eli Manning and the Phillip Rivers, like get them out and get them to new places while they still have something left. To me, I've never, of all my quarterback things, besides 5 years ago when I said Phillip Rivers to the Vikings and Eli Manning to the Colts when Andrew Luck retired, I've never been more sure of anything than the Cowboys should do everything they can to get Matt Stafford.
And he's from Texas anyway. He went through high school Kershaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. All right. The Packers are 13.5-point favorites at home against the Jags, Joe.
13.5 is a lot, but the Jags are bad.
Yeah.
Packers are home. I'm going Packers. 13.5, man. It's crazy. I'm gonna go with the Jags. Actually, I think 13 is too high. I think the Packers win that game and they win it pretty easily. I could see it back to recover though.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick with the Pack. All right, the Eagles travel to your Giants. The Eagles are
let's go.
Eagles are now currently 3.5-point favorites according to these lines.
Travel to my Giants. The way the Giants played them a couple weeks ago in Philly, the way the Giants defense is playing. I mean, this is prime for a Giants letting me down and just kicking me in the dick when I get like a little bit of, somewhat hope. But I got to say, the thing that makes me excited as a Giants fan, and it's maybe the only thing, is the defense coming together, the defense seemingly having a personality, being active. I think the future of the Giants defense is looking good. I think the Giants potentially win this game. I'm definitely taking them to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to sadly take your Giants to cover as well. It's probably going to come back and bite me in the ass too.
It's probably going to come back and Ruth or curse, ruin my life is what it's probably going to do. Just say that Trevor Bauer signing with the Angels so that I can have one win.
No, not going to do it. All right, the Bucks travel to Carolina. Should be a fun game. Bucks are 5.5-point favorite. Why is it so big?
I feel like that's the right amount of big, but at the same time, it's like, man,
Like a big
Carolina
bounce back game.
Yeah, but Carolina has been. I'm going to take Carolina. I think it sounds like you are too.
Yeah.
Is this a potential loss for the Bucks?
I mean, Carolina's in every game. Like they took Kansas City. I know it's 1 week, but every week they went down to the missed field goal. They can beat Kansas City in Kansas City last week.
By the way, I know everybody was on the Bucks hype train a couple weeks ago, and maybe they come back and beat Carolina and get everybody back on the hype train. But I was watching SportsCenter this morning. Tom Brady, 33%. He's completing 33% of his passes when under pressure. Second worst in the league.
It's a good stat to know.
That's I don't know, a Joe Nug.
Doesn't sound as good as Tug Nug or Rug Nug.
I almost said Jug Nug, but it's like,
who's worse? Did they say?
I don't know, but whoever it is,
I bet it's Baker Mayfield.
It's bad. It's a bad spot to be.
So the NFL finally listened to me, because if you look at this week's games, there's 5 at 1 o'clock and 6 at 4 or 4:25.
Wow, that's maybe the first time ever there's been more later games than early games.
But like they basically made it even.
Yeah.
But
are those all just West Coast home games?
No, they're not.
Hit me.
All right, let's do it. We'll start off with Denver at Las Vegas.
Okay, West Coast home game. What's the spread?
Yellow Raiders are 5-point favorites.
5. I love the Raiders. I'm rooting for the Raiders. I'm taking the Broncos. I feel like these guys just play close games.
They do. But you know what? Just to be a contrarian, I'm going to go
Raiders.
And I absolutely love.
Get me in the black hole.
That John Gruden is a house away.
Yeah.
From Derek Carr. Like, that is, to me, still the funniest thing ever. That they're getting the morning paper, even though nobody gets the morning paper anymore.
Yeah.
He's like,
Gruden definitely gets the morning paper still.
Yeah.
He definitely walks to the end of his, front path with his dogs, Grinder and Spider, to get his paper. He definitely has like a Grinder, a Spider, a banana, and like a Caliendo, because he loves Frank's impression so much.
Oh, yeah. I can totally see that. All right. Well, this game is not on the West Coast. The Chargers travel to Miami in the battle of rookie QBs. Tua versus Herbert.
Miami.
Yeah. The Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites against the Chargers, who are also in like every game.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of this game, but I'm going to go with I don't know who to take, but I'm going to go with Miami because it's west to east. But the Chargers could easily win this game.
I agree. Is Tua going to start 3-0?
Tua mania. Yeah, probably. What's the Dolphins record right now?
The Dolphins are 5-3.
And it's a 2.5-point Dolphins favorite.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are 6-2 against the spread this year.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Miami, although
to me, this is the letdown game. I'm going to go Chargers.
Okay, I like it. I definitely like it.
All right, the Bills travel to Arizona to face the Cards.
This is kind of this got game of the week vibes.
I agree. And this spread opened they're basically calling it even right now. But again, there's different sites, at least the ESPN site. It opened at -2 Arizona.
This has dangerous betting vibes to me. I've lost a lot on the Bills this week, although I won on them last week against your Seahawks. I'm gonna take the Cards to win at home.
I am too. I think it's a bounce back game for them after that tough loss, and I think it's a come back to earth game a little for Josh Allen. All right, the Seahawks travel to LA. They are 1.5-point underdogs against the Rams, who always, in my opinion, I feel like they dominate. They always play the Seahawks stuff, even when they were bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this game because of the line. I'm going to take the Seahawks, though. The idea, I know it's a new empty stadium in Los Angeles. Like, I feel like if this is a Coliseum, I'd have a whole different thing if there was fans
100%.
there. But indoor, new stadium, I feel like your boy comes in and shows up after a bad game.
Although that D line, man,
no doubt about it.
I mean, we could be looking at a 5-6 sack game.
Absolutely. And I also, I mean, their defense, the Seahawks defense isn't great. So McVay should have,
Joe,
a strategy.
That's understating it. The Seahawks defense is historically the worst defense ever.
Yeah. Here's my point. Every single thing tells me that the Rams, and that's why I'm taking the Seahawks.
I agree. I see Russ having another possible bad game. I see McVay exposing that terrible secondary. But I'm just going to go Seahawks just to do everything that's doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah.
All right. The Niners travel to New Orleans, where the Saints are 9.5-point favorites.
Saints win. It's too high. I'll take the Niners.
I'm going to go New Orleans.
I'll tell you what, New Orleans certainly has an opportunity here to get themselves in the running for NFC favorites.
I agree.
Then they have to blow out the Niners to do that. I need a 15 to 20 point victory to jump back on any sort of New Orleans bandwagon, who I believe I predicted to play in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Well, this next game is another one that was moved late. The Bengals getting some good game coverage at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 7-point favorites. Now, Big Ben is in the COVID-19 protocol, but I believe he's still playing, so I don't really fully get that, but whatever.
Joey backdoor. Give me the Bengals. And lots of points. I like a lot of points in this game. Give me the Bengals and the over.
Am I going to have to pick the Bungles on this?
7 seems low. I feel like it should be higher, but I feel like the backdoor works either way.
Yeah. Rookie QB against the Steelers D. Because the Steelers offense hasn't impressed me. It's been their defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go the other way. Steelers cover late.
And I don't think that the Bengals win this game, but I do love to look. I'll look at the value of this game for you bettors out there who want a fun money line pick. I don't know what the value is, but it's got to be pretty high.
The money line is Bengals plus 225.
Oh, not high as I thought. Forget it. Scrap that play.
Yeah.
I was going to say plus 275 and over. I was in.
All right. We got another bad Sunday night game. No, I guess maybe it won't be bad. I don't know. Patriots, Ravens, rematch of a blowout last year.
The one thing I don't like in terms of when we say bad, why does it seem like every week some team in prime time was just in prime time? Like, I think that's what the NFL has got to be better about. Like,
I agree.
It seems like every week I'm watching a team on Sunday night and then I'm watching them on Monday night, or vice versa, or Thursday and then Monday. It's like
they do it all the time.
Mix up your prime times. Normally, I would say, you're like, oh, not a great game because the Patriots have been bad. They almost lose to the Jets. They didn't. Thank God. They saved my confidence pool. I made some dough on that. Like normally I would say, oh, this is kind of a great game, but I just watched the Patriots play in prime time. Now I'm less interested.
By the way, that game could not have been more of a fake tank or like a tank.
Yeah.
I mean that Flacco pass, when you have the lead, like, dude, that was one of those, like, did the coach just tell you to go deep?
Yeah. Kind of loved it.
Like, two guys were wide open.
I know.
And they pointed that out, the announcers.
Yeah. I kind of love it in terms of like the fake tank, like Joe Flacco just going and sitting on the bench, like just stoic in his perfectly manscaped beard, just like, what are you gonna do, man? I got a little bit of a bonus for that one.
Yeah, like he's playing a great game and making some really nice throws, and then he
he hits a defensive back in stride,
like heaves it down the field.
Although that's as far as Flacco's, Flacco's had a couple of those go his way.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to the Super Bowl throwing one to a defensive back, and then the defensive back, like mid play, like left the field.
I mean, they showed a stat on Flacco during that game. It was crazy. The only 4 games in a row where Flacco's had 100 or better quarterback rating in his entire career
were the Super Bowl run,
which is wild.
Yeah.
Because like 100 is not like, whether you believe in quarterback rating or not.
It's changed lately for sure. Like having a higher quarterback rating is certainly easier these days. But I saw a great stat. Speaking of quarterback ratings and the modern era and all this stuff, but did you see that? I believe it's Aaron Rodgers is a few passes away from being, I think, the 6th guy or 7th guy ever to throw, is it 400 TD passes? Something like that.
Yeah.
400 TD passes. The other guys, I think he's the 7th. He'll be the 7th. The other guys, I mean, the interception comparison between Aaron Rodgers and every other guy on that list.
There is no comparison.
Aaron Rodgers currently has 86 interceptions. Like the next lowest was like Tom Brady at like 156 or something like that.
And I saw dorks trying to God. Well, it means he doesn't take as many chances.
Look, it's a completely different era, and the way it's not about taking less chances. It's about these offenses shifting to a way that you don't put a quarterback in a position to need to take a chance. That being said, Aaron Rodgers is the bridge.
Yeah, he started in 2008.
This is the bridge from that era. Like, people are doing that because of Aaron Rodgers. It's like, oh, you can play this way and have gaudy passing numbers with low interceptions if you do it this style. It's absolutely like fascinating and impressive, and
it's
why
like
Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 all-time QB.
It's like that stat on Aaron Rodgers that the amount of touchdown passes he's thrown to first-round picks.
Yeah. Is what, 0?
It's like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, what do you make of this New England-Baltimore game? The Pats are 7-point dogs at home. I think that's too big. I'm going to take the Patriots to cover.
They almost lost to the Jets. I'm going with the Ravens.
Okay. All right, Monday Night Football, NFC North game. Excuse me. Vikings-Bears in Chicago. 2.5-point Vikings favorite. Ooh.
It's right in the right area, right? It's in Chicago?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Bears. I actually think, I don't know. This is another one that's kind of saying Vikings to me. Like, I think the Vikings are the better team. I think the Vikings are coming on. I think the Bears are falling apart. Their offenses look bad. The Vikings are running the ball great, like everything. But like the idea that they're a 2.5-point home dog, I'm going to take the Bears.
Yeah. God, that offense.
And it's not like they're a 2.5-point home dog to a team that's definitely better than them.
Sure.
I think the Vikings are better than them right now.
I'll take the Vikings. All right, those are the Week 10 picks. Should be a fun week.
10. A 10. I give it a 10.
Yeah. A nice, like I said, a nice mix of games that are scattered throughout instead of all top heavy at the beginning. I love it. Guys, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can follow me at Andy Ruther.
At Fix Your Life on Twitter, at Joe Praino on Instagram. Getting back to doing live stand-up comedy, possibly. Do we have DirtBalls in Alaska? I was there a couple of years ago, early last year for the Alaska Comedy Festival. I'll be back. I'll be headlining shows in Anchorage and Wasilla, which I believe is where Sarah Palin is from. You can see Russia from the stage. So those will be the weekend of December 10th, 11th, 12th. Coots in Anchorage. I'm not sure of the spot in Wasilla, but I don't know if we have DirtBalls in Alaska. Forget if any of you guys came out during the festival, but if you are, or if you do, or if you're so desperate for live comedy that you're willing to travel to Russia, I'll be in Alaska.
Nice. And if you guys want to watch me sit on a couch in a basement, watch football, you're not allowed. Sorry, you're just not allowed. That's not in the lease, and we haven't agreed to that yet. So. Unless,
of course, you show up to Wall Street with Miller Lights, and then Andy will probably let you in. Support the brand.
Yeah, maybe I'll let you
drink
do that.
Miller Lite. Go Bubba Watson. Go Giants.
Yeah, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Be merry. Don't listen to Christmas music. Don't do it. Do not listen to Christmas music yet.
It's too early. It's too soon.
Too early.
Listen to Alice's Restaurant until Thanksgiving.
Yeah, don't do it. All right, Dirtballs. Much love to you guys. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.